Welcome you guys back to another Armor of God podcast. Today we're going to be getting into Isaiah 28. It's a common Hebrew Israelite argument. I'm going to get into some scripture, and of course we're going to read Isaiah straight from the source to show why that argument makes absolutely no sense. So, I'm Greg Williams. Welcome to Armor of God. Let's get suited up. In that day the Lord of hosts will become a beautiful crown and a glorious diadem to the remnant of his people, a spirit of justice for him who sits in judgment, a strength to those who repel the onslaught at the gate. And these also reel with wine and stagger from strong drink. The priests and the prophets reel with strong drink. They are confused by wine, they stagger from strong drink. They reel while having visions, they totter when rendering judgment. For all the tables are full of filthy vomit without a single clean place. To whom would he teach knowledge? And to whom would he interpret the message? Those just weaned from milk? Those just taken from the breast? For he says order on order, order on order, line on line, a little here, a little there. Indeed, he will speak to those people through stammering lips and a foreign tongue. He said to them, here is rest, give rest to the weary, and here is repose. But they would not listen. So the word of the Lord to them will be order on order, order on order, line on line, a little here, a little there, that they may go, stumble backwards, be broken, snared, and taken captive. Therefore hear the word of the Lord, O scoffers, who rule this people, who are in Jerusalem, because you have said we made a covenant with death, and with Sheol we have made a pact. The overwhelming scourge will not reach us when it passes by. For we have made falsehood our refuge, and we have concealed ourselves with deception. After reading Isaiah 28, I can only conclude that this is not giving any instructions on how to read the Bible. It doesn't seem to be foreshadowing anything outside of the story being told in the book of Isaiah. So when our Israelite brothers and sisters try to use Isaiah 28 verses 10 and 13 to say that we're meant to jump verse to verse, they're either ignorant, have a misunderstanding, or being disingenuous. In this chapter it says that they will reel from strong drink, that they will be confused, and at the end of verse 13 it says that reading the Bible, rather teaching the Bible this way, will lead you to stumble backwards. This doesn't sound like it's meant to instruct anyone on how to read the Bible. It seems to be teaching the exact opposite. In one of my earlier videos, I go over how we got chapters and verse divisions in the Bible. The Tanakh, our Old Testament, where the book of Isaiah is, had no verse divisions, punctuation, chapter divisions, or lowercase letters. So I wonder what our Israelite brothers even mean by line upon line, precept upon precept, because the common understanding seems to be verse upon verse. An argument can be made that I too jump around verse to verse, but there's a major difference. I'm not reading into the Bible, I'm reading from the Bible. For example, where in the Bible does it say to read a verse here or a verse there? You can't find it. It also doesn't say that the North Atlantic slave trade is going to sell African and brown-skinned Jews to the Americas. It's not in there. You would have to read that into the text because you will never read it from the text. I think the biggest problem with the Isaiah 28 argument for our Israelite brothers and sisters is they would have to have this presupposition before reading the text. Because all you have to do is read out loud to hear Isaiah making a completely different point. The point Isaiah is making is the message is being lost because of the behavior of the people teaching and listening to the scriptures. It says that they will behave like drunkards, speaking in a foreign tongue with stammering lips. This means to stutter in a language you don't know. And they'll be preaching this to those freshly weaned from their mother's milk, toddlers. This idea means to be young in the faith. It says that they will need rest and they will refuse it. So to paint the picture, the teachers are drunk people stuttering in a foreign language, teaching sleepy toddlers that are fighting their sleep. So the only way you can teach them is order on order, line on line. And at the end of this, it'll lead you to fall backwards. I don't see how any honest person can leave the text with a different conclusion. But to continue. I've heard some Israelite brothers preach the Bible is not a storybook. Well, I have some news for you. The Bible from start to finish tells one story in a series of books. I don't understand why people don't like to hear the Bible tell stories. Maybe it's because it sounds like lying. The book of Isaiah is about how Isaiah was commissioned as a prophet to Israel during a time when they were not following the law, and he was to warn them of the coming exile. But because of their hard hearts and love of their own sin, they would not hear him. Chapter 28 is one of 66 chapters in this book. Isaiah is one of at least 66 books in the Bible. By ignoring the context, you are missing the point. All praise and faith to his amazing grace. Brothers and sisters, pray for me as I pray for you, and continue to wear the armor of God.